racial dysfunction coming to the State House in Texas today. They're in Austin. Let's talk about it even further with the Texas Tribune, Zach Despart. He joins us now. Zach, good to see you. Thanks for being with us. Walk us up to speed. What just happened there in Austin?
So less than an hour ago, a committee in the Texas House of Representatives voted unanimously in favor of articles of impeachment against Attorney General Ken Paxton. These are related to a presentation that investigators made to this committee just yesterday, in which they laid out essentially what is a pattern of alleged corruption and abuse of power by Mr. Paxton, mostly related to helping a friend and real estate developer of Paxton's who lives here in Austin.
From what I understand, Zach, Paxton has been under a multi-count indictment for several years. Is this in relation to that? Are these the same allegations at play here, and now we're just seeing it play out in the legislative level?
Completely different. So it's hard to keep track of everything involving the Attorney General, but those charges, felony securities fraud charges, date back to 2015. He has yet to stand trial for those, but that has nothing to do with what the House is talking about today and is going to attempt to impeach him for. These are related to acts related to him as Attorney General. They say that he used his office to help a personal friend of his, including by allegedly providing an internal FBI document to this man who may have been under investigation by the FBI, also using internal staff resources, wasting taxpayer money to, again, just benefit this private person. All of this has been known for a couple of years. What was really surprising yesterday was this was the first time that all these allegations together were in a public hearing, in a formal setting, and now Mr. Paxton faces the greatest political peril really he ever has in his, so far, he's in his third term now.
Yeah. Zach, what's going on, though, between, I guess, Paxton's camp and Speaker Dade Phelan's camp? It seems like there's this battle royale playing out there in the legislature, and you're seeing these camps form. Would that be an accurate characterization?
Yes, it would. It's been a crazy week. It's only Thursday here at the Capitol in Austin. On Wednesday, really out of the blue, the Attorney General called on Speaker Phelan to resign. He said that, this video of the Speaker presiding over the House a couple of weeks ago, in which the Speaker sort of slurs his words, he said that the Speaker appeared to be drunk and therefore he shouldn't have been presiding over the House and then he should quit. That whole thing happened just a couple hours before the House announced that it had been, in fact, investigating Mr. Paxton, had been doing so in secret since March. The Speaker says that Paxton raising this whole issue about him slurring his words is really just an attempt to distract from his own issues ethically.
Oh, that's interesting, because I had initially thought that, one preceded the other, but it seems like the investigative workings were already ongoing before that. Viral video of Phelan there presiding over the chamber, seemingly intoxicated. Has anyone confirmed, have you guys confirmed, was Phelan intoxicated?
That's a good question. We're not entirely sure. We have asked the Speaker's office. He has said that he was simply really tired. It was a very late night session that night. That's the extent that we understand. In the video clips, he slurs his words at various points. So that's the best answer we have right now.
Okay, and I want to kind of characterize this too, all of this dysfunction, as a dumpster fire. You get that reference. Walk us through what exactly was going on. There's this viral video of this huge dumpster on fire, and an arrest has been made in relation to it. How does this all involve itself?
So our understanding is there was a fire in a dumpster, perhaps on the property of the Attorney General's office last evening. This is after the House committee has already laid out all these allegations against Mr. Paxton. We have no indication that the fire is in any way related to Paxton or the Attorney General's office. The state police announced today that they had made an arrest in the case. There's no indication that the person who was arrested has any connection to Paxton.
Okay, Zach, I want to get to, though, these impeachment recommendations. They've now been filed. Is there an appetite amongst the entire legislature? Do they have the votes to carry this out? If so, when would that happen?
So both chambers of the Texas legislature are run by Republicans. So if we're looking at the House, is there enough support to impeach him? Democrats probably will unanimously vote in favor. The question is, what's the breakdown going to be in the Republican caucus, the majority? It appears that there may be the votes to impeach the Attorney General. The Attorney General really hasn't gotten along with many members of the House, including Republicans, so that's really not going to help him here. The bigger question, I think, will be, are there enough votes in the Senate to ultimately remove him? Removal requires 2/3 vote in both chambers. Another wrinkle here is the Attorney General's wife is a senator. That would be a very strange situation as well if it goes that far.
Yeah, I mean, the word unprecedented is thrown around a lot these days, but the political infighting, the sniping amongst members of the same party, especially in a ruby red state like Texas, I think is really fascinating. Where does Governor Greg Abbott come down on this? What has he said about this?
So both Governor Greg Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who runs the Senate, have said nothing about this. It's telling in one sense because they have not jumped out to defend Paxton. Of course, Paxton's been a Republican in good standing in the party, has been elected 3 times. He's enjoyed their support. The governor traditionally is hesitant to wade in on controversial issues until he knows which way the wind is blowing. At this point, we don't know what's going to happen. But for Paxton, it is certainly not good news that these other officials are not currently defending him.
Okay, Zach Despart with the Texas Tribune. Zach, we always appreciate your reporting and insight into these major, now national headlines. We'll talk again. Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, back out live there to Austin, Texas. Well, Ken Paxton's office responding to this. I want to put this up. I'm going to read this in part here. He tweeted this statement out, and it says, Texas faces a critical moment for the rule of law and the will of Texas voters. Only months ago, Texans went to the polls and made a choice. They made their choice during a primary where over 1.5 million Texans cast their vote. They made that choice again when over 1 million people voted in the general election. It says just yesterday, 4 liberal lawyers put forward a report to the House General Investigating Committee based on hearsay and gossip, parroting long disproven claims. Today, that committee has asked the Texas House of Representatives to use their unsubstantiated report to overturn the results of a free and fair election. He goes on to say, there is a reason CNN called Texas a, quote, legal graveyard for the Biden policies. I'm doing exactly what voters elected me to do. He calls this a sad day. Now, that is some of the statement there. He's defending his record. In the meantime, though, let's put up some of this video. We wanted to show you of this woman lighting this dumpster on fire there. This was right outside Ken Paxton's office. Now, people were wildly speculating on social media that there was documents being burned because of this investigation. Well, now we know the Attorney General's office said a 42-year-old woman was arrested in connection with unintentionally setting fire to this dumpster outside their office. So Paxton assailing the local media, who he said, quote, misled the public about the nature of the crime. So you can see there. I want to put up this tweet as well from the Texas Attorney General's office saying, update, the individual seen on video starting the fire at the office of the Attorney General Wednesday night has been arrested by Texas DPS. The 42-year-old female was charged with criminal mischief equal to or greater than $25,000, but less than $30,000.